Welcome everyone. Let's work on this upper bathroom area. And so the textbook pretty much just says, hey, here's a bunch of dimensions. It's to interior face and draw these out and good luck. Which is great. Really, we should be able to do this. However, I really want to go through a bit of a workflow. And I want you to think about not necessarily drawing accurately, but controlling our model to become accurate. So I'm going to use a little bit different workflow. So I'm going to use this, or maybe unique workflow. I don't know. And this isn't the only way to do this. There's many, and this method may not necessarily work in a lot of different places. But I know I need a bunch of walls in this area. Okay, and let me be really clear. We should be modeling to one of the core faces, not a finish face. So here's my wall command, and I want this same basic wall. And one of the key things that I want to do is make sure that in my options it goes up to level 2, not unconnected in a height, but up to level 2. And so what I'm going to do here is, let's see, core face interior. I'll choose that. And I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to start drawing some walls. Let's see, I need 2 horizontal walls. So I'm going to draw 2 horizontal walls. And I need another vertical wall in here somewhere. My drawing's done. So my next step is to put some dimensions in. And quite honestly, right, I'm not supposed to do that according to Rob's workflow. But in this particular case, I'm not going to be using these for final dimensions. So I will put these in, and I'm just going to have to delete them later. All right, so annotate, align dimension, and I'm going to start to figure out where they should be. And by the way, I'm going to make sure I come in here. This is my core face, so I'm going to choose the edge of my framing. Come up here, get this core face, get the other side of the core face of the same wall, because ultimately my dimension from wall to wall needs to be from, I'll show you in a minute, one side to the other. So there's that, and I'll go ahead and take it up. And here I want to go to the inside of the framing. Right, this is an interior dimension, but of course not the drywall. I'll drag it out here and put it in place. And you can clearly see that, my numbers are a mess. And let's see, I'm going to put in a horizontal dimension. Right, I'm going to choose this inside of the core face. Come over and pick up the near core face here, the next core face, and the near core face of this wall. Okay. So let's see. So I think I have all these dimensions now. So let's see. I am going to, actually I'm going to drag this wall down. I don't really want them overlapping. So I'm going to click this wall, and my actual dimension that I put in highlights and allows me to enter a value that I want. So I'm going to enter 10. I thought I was going to enter 10. There's 10. And then I'm going to choose this wall. And of course, it shouldn't be 9 feet away. It should only be another 2 feet away. So 2. And there we're good there. And then, actually, I've got that 2 incorrect. That's a bit disappointing. So I'm going to delete this. I'll just leave it where it is for now. I'm going to put in one more dimension inside of this core to this edge of the core. And we can see that it's not 12. The book asks us to make this 12. So I'm going to click in here and make it 12. And what happens is my 2, it's really hard to see here. Let's see if I can drag this out. My 2 isn't 2 anymore. It's 1 foot 8 3/8. And that's okay, right? if I were to mention the way the book shows it and I put a dimension across the cores, right, that's that 2 feet. Okay, so that's what the textbook's looking for. So now I'm going to click on my horizontal wall, click on this dimension, and I'm just going to enter 6 feet. Pick my next wall. Actually, I'm going to move it left too so it's not intersecting anything. But pick this next wall, click into the dimension, and change it to 12. And so now my dimensions actually are all correct according to the textbook. And now I can just finish up my view by dragging the ends of these walls and getting Revit to make them join. Oops, come get this one. And lastly, drag this up. And so I now have accurately what the book wants. 6 feet here, 12 feet here, and 2 feet from the near to the far core, and 12 feet from the near core to the near core here. So I guess the last thing I need to do is also drag this wall up. And of course, Revit joins it. Okay, so that is a really, it shows that as I'm drawing, sometimes it can be more difficult to draw accurately than it can be to draw sort of randomly and then use this dimensioning scheme to make things more accurate. Doesn't always work that way, but sometimes it does. So at this point, we are ready to mirror all these walls to the other side and then continue on the interior walls. And so what I'm going to do is off camera here, I'm going to delete these dimensions. I'm going to select 1, 2, 3, 4 walls, and I'm going to mirror them about my center reference plane. And so next we're going to be drawing some vertical lines, vertical walls, or north-south walls here. And then we'll put in some what I would call chamfers around those hallways. So wall, basic interior, core face interior. For me, I want my offset. The book is asking for 4 feet. Actually, I'm going to change this to 0. And find my center line, or center snap, I should say. And you know, sometimes I just visually can't find the center of something. Yep, there's the center. So of course, again, it's force of habit. I'm going to come up here and make sure I've actually got the core face exterior. And notice the wall is coming straight off my cursor, but I want it offset 4 feet to the right according to the book. So here's what's kind of nice, right? Right in the middle of a command, I came back and I can adjust my offset in the middle of the command, and the offset immediately takes effect. So just FYI. And I'm going to make sure that I come straight down, and just to break my workflow a little bit, notice I don't have to choose the core face exterior here. If I choose even the interior, the wall's going to automatically join. I bring my cursor back up and come back and finish this and hit escape 3 times actually is what I was due. And notice Revit has adjusted or joined those walls. And so then we have to put in now some angled lines here, and I think that might wrap up the interior wall work. So let's get to work on that. And what we're going to be doing is drawing a 45-degree angle, I think, from this the intersection of this reference plane. So back to the wall command, and I don't need an offset. I think we're going to get a different result if I choose core face interior or core face exterior. Well, actually, it doesn't matter. I can just use the space bar. So I'll leave that where it is, my offset 0. And I'm going to zoom way in here. And of course, I am not picking an exterior finish face. It's I'm going to choose this core face here, and then come down at, make sure my tab or my angle reads 135 degrees. And here's the deal. This is almost personal preference, right? If I press the space bar, I just get more space in the middle of this chamfered area of the building, or a smaller amount of space. That's not crucial, right? What's nice is that we're using this tool. So I'm just going to leave mine the way it is and come down here and make sure my 135 degrees is correct. Click that as an endpoint, and notice Revit puts in a nice finish for me. So then I'm going to repeat that going the other direction. And what is here important is that I'm consistent, so I need to hit the space bar. I said my bulk of my wall was going to be on the bottom half or below my cursor. So then I come down, and here I've got 45 degrees, double check my 45 degrees and click an end, and I have that done. So I am not going to draw the bottom two. Not sure. I'll bet the textbook doesn't have it do it either. Probably has it do it with the mirror command. Yeah. So clearly a workflow should always be to do something and force the computer to do the repetitive work. So mirror, I'll pick my axis and I will pick the center line reference plane. And notice Revit automatically joins them. So I've got a little bit more work to do, and that's to clean them up. And so I think this actually is similar to AutoCAD. If I choose modify, you'd think I could choose trim to a corner, but this is going to be a little bit dangerous, right? I'm going to choose the section I want to keep, and notice the entire right-hand side of the wall is trimmed away. And that's clearly not what I want. So Revit doesn't allow us to break up a single object. So what we need to do is to break each of these long walls into multiple objects. And Revit has a command to do that. It's called split element. So I'm going to click this split element tool. And right, I get the X-Acto knife. So I'm going to click the vertical wall, the horizontal wall, vertical wall, horizontal wall. And if I were to zoom in really close, you can kind of see now there's a separator where I clicked. I hit escape a couple times. Notice now those walls are multiple pieces. So now if I use trim to a corner, I get that done, I get that done, and kind of going around the clock here. And I think we have a model that is relatively complete. So a couple other topics I may want to, oh yeah, we got to edit some wall joins. Now there's some fun. It's about as fun as a Christmas party. All right, so I'm going to close this section. Hopefully it's been helpful, and we will come up and do wall joins in the next section.